doesn't matter if you have a high-end house or a small condo. Our next guest says home staging is an important step when selling your home. Cathy Jane Safioti is the owner of Cathy Jane's Home Setting and is back with more staging advice. Welcome back to the show. It's always great to have you here. So how important is home staging? I mean, it doesn't really matter how expensive your house is. This could make a big difference.
Absolutely. Yes, it makes a big difference. It can bring you a quicker sale, and without it, buyers are just going to go on to the next property.
Really? So you bought some items here, the most bang for your buck, we're calling it.
Absolutely.
All right, let's start on this end, get right to them.
Okay, if you're going to do updates on the exterior, one of the things you have to keep in mind, especially if you're going to paint the facade of the house, is brown and red stay on the market the longest.
Really?
Yes. The last 5 years, the quickest selling #1 color was a soft pale yellow. And that's why I brought this color in, because not neon yellow.
I guess it's welcoming, though, wouldn't you say? It's warm, it's friendly.
Very much so. And at #2, running neck and neck, has been white and beige.
Okay, so stay away from red and brown.
Now,
very good advice.
Interior updates, one of the things that makes the largest impact is to remove dated wallpaper. If you remove the dated wallpaper, paint out the trim white, you increase the visual square footage of the room. At the same time, the views pop. And that's what buyers are paying for. They're paying for square footage, and they're paying for views.
Now, do people still opt for wallpaper? Is that more of something in the 80s?
No, wallpaper is starting to come back in, but it's too taste specific. The idea is to give the buyers a nice clean canvas so that they can picture what they want to bring into the house.
That makes sense. Okay.
When I was here last, we talked about kitchen cabinets and bathroom cabinets. This is the quickest, least expensive, most bang for your buck. Just remember that anything silver toned is in style.
Okay, and gold is out, huh?
Gold is out. So if you can't afford to, you can also paint out the kitchen cabinets. If they're plain like this, you can always add trim. Okay. If you can't afford to buy the hardware, one of the quickest things to do is just take your existing hardware off. Okay. Take some steel wool, scratch it up, buy a can of metallic finish paint. This was less than $2 a can. One can should do a whole kitchen. Right, and then replace your knobs. And it makes a big, huge impact.
And the majority of this you could do yourself, would you say?
Absolutely. My reports are designed that way so that if you contact me, I go show you what you need to do, and then you're on your own, because the reports are so straightforward and to the point that you can do it yourself. You don't need me to come and stage for you.
Usually you want to take out the personal items. Is that what I've heard in the past? The pictures, that type of thing?
Absolutely. But one of the other staging advice I always give, I run into this all the time in bathrooms. People now are looking for that spa feel, and there's a very easy way. Most bathrooms now, for some reason, at one point, they just have a solid piece of a mirror.
That's true.
Right. Quick way to change that is just simply frame it out. Remove all your personal bath products. Instead, put rolled towels there. Add a nice bar of soap, unscented candle, and you've immediately added thousands of dollars to your bathroom and give it that spa feel that buyers really like.
Wow. That is easy. That's a piece of cake.
Well, if you do it yourself, you can go to a framer, just give them the measurements of your mirror. If you can do it yourself, it's a $20 fix.
Wow.
Just glass glue and you're done.
I like that. Okay.
Most importantly, make sure that all your lights are on. And light fixtures should be updated, and the same rule applies also. Gold is out, silver's in.
And I would assume make sure they're clean and not dusty.
Yes. Excuse me. Very, very, very important.
Okay. And what do we have on the end here?
This was a picture that I did for someone that had a very odd-shaped room, did not quite know how to do. And I also brought it along to show that the cleaner the palette that you have, the better off that you are. You need to have room for the buyers to be able to bring in what they want to do to the home. In other words, if you've got too much of your, I brought this also, if you've got too much pattern and color, what happens is it's your taste. And the buyers can't visualize.
Someone might find that very abrasive, right, and walk right out the door.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the cleaner canvas or palette that you give a buyer, the closer you are to having the buyer be able to come in and visualize themselves living in that home. And when they're coming in that front door, they're always bringing in their head, their ideas, whether their favorite color is purple or hot pink or whatever. And the only way they're going to be able to visualize their own taste in there is if you give them a nice clean palette.
Okay, and I have to ask you, I'm assuming this probably has something to do with children's toys?
Yes.
Are you going to want to hide them? What do you do with them?
Yes. Well, you have to remember, depending upon, ask your agent what she thinks your buyers are going to be. And if you're upgrading or downsizing, you have to remember not all buyers have kids. And because kids' toys are so brightly colored, that's why I brought this one. You have to put them away.
Okay.
I know that it's hard to do that, but you have to remember, once you have your house is for sale, you're now living in a house for sale. You're no longer living in your home.
You want to get rid of it.
Absolutely.
All right, we have a couple questions from viewers.
Great.
We'll get right to them. The first one says, how important is color when staging? Do bold colors make more of an impact, or are neutral colors better?
We
What do you
talked
think?
about that. Well, we talked about that. The cleaner palette that you can give, the better off that you are. You have to be able to let the buyer visualize their own taste in colors.
That's right. The next one we're talking about here is carpet versus hardwood floors.
Oh, definitely hardwood floors.
Rip up the carpets.
Absolutely.
And this is the before picture.
Right.
Oh my gosh, it's like night and day. What a huge difference.
See, now that particular picture, that house was on the market for over a year. We removed all the carpeting and it sold in less than a week by people that had seen it before.
Wow, so it makes all the difference. Okay, well, we have all the information. We'll put it back on the screen there so we can get in contact with you. Very helpful advice.
Great, thank you very much.
Absolutely. You could get in contact with Cathy Jane at Cathy Jane's Home Setting. The number is 203-988-6856 or at CathyJaneHomesettings.com. I love this. I feel like